Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 51 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things every day I don't want to do, but I know would be good for me. So, yay! I made it to day 51. I'm past the halfway point. Only 49 days left to go. I think I forgot to do 50-50 yesterday, which is kind of funny. That would have been nice. Anyway, I am super tired. I stayed up super late last night for absolutely no good reason. I'm staying up super late tonight for sort of a good reason. Poor planning on my part. That's what I'm staying up super late for, because I've been trying to figure out what cake my son wants for his birthday, and I tried getting a hold of him before the weekend, on the weekend, whatever, and he just didn't respond back to me. And then he finally told me yesterday that of course he wants a cherry cheesecake, and I'm like, a cherry cheesecake? Of course he does. So, which I'm not really sure how to do cherry cheesecake, because cheesecake, it's considered a cherry cheesecake when you just put cherries on top of it. And I'm like, it's not really the cheesecake. Like, the cheesecake doesn't have the cherry flavor to it. So I made my cheesecake recipe, and I stuck the cherry pie filling in it, and I hope that it turns out okay. But I kind of experimented with the crust, and it smells like it burnt the crust, so I don't think it's going to be a very good cake for my son's birthday. So I'm just going to have to apologize profusely. But I didn't know if he wanted a no-bake cheesecake, which is easier and less time-consuming, or a baked cheesecake. And I had the time to make it like on a Friday or a Saturday if I'd gotten a hold of him sooner, but I didn't get a hold of him sooner, so I didn't even know until yesterday what kind of cheesecake, and it didn't even occur to me to ask him if he wanted a baked or no bake. So when I was at the store today, I bought for both, which I didn't really want to do because it costs a little bit more money to do that, obviously. And then I came home and I'm like, well, now I have ingredients for both, and I'm in the process of making both. And then he's like, baked, and I'm like, of course baked. And of course baked takes like 5 hours from start to finish. It's not really that it takes that long to bake it. It's just the process, because it takes like half an hour to 45 minutes just to do the crust and the filling and all of that stuff. So you have to bake the crust first, and then you have to put the filling in it, and then you have to bake it, and then you have to bake it for over an hour. It bakes for over an hour, and then hopefully it's done within an hour, but then you have to let it cool for like 15 minutes, and then you have to like cut the sides, and then you have to let it cool for another half an hour, and then you take the sides off, and then you have to let it cool for like 2 hours. So the cooling process takes like 2 hours and 45 minutes before you can even stick it in the fridge, and then it still has to chill overnight. So I can get lots of other things done while it's baking and while it's cooling. The only problem is I'm super tired, and I could curl up in my bed and go to sleep right now. But then I would have a very burnt cheesecake, and it would not be chilled for tomorrow, and I don't know if it's okay to leave it out overnight to cool and then stick it in the fridge while I go to work all day tomorrow. Not really sure if that's a wise decision. Seriously debating doing that, or putting it in the fridge even without waiting the 2 hours. I'm not sure what happens when you do that either. Mostly so I can go to bed tonight, because I don't want to stay up all night. I probably will, just because I want it to be as close to good as it can for my son, despite the fact that I burnt it. And of course I could always take one of the no-bake cheesecakes that I made to kind of make up for it and be like, okay, here's the burnt experimented baked cheesecake, and here's the regular cheesecake. And I do have the cherry pie filling that I bought to put on top, so I can either put it on top of the no-bake, or I can put it on top of the baked one. Still debating which one to do that with. Also, still got to figure out what to do with the cheesecakes, because the no-bake cheesecake recipe makes 3, and I can't have any. So that was something that was really hard for me to do, because not only am I making 2 different types of cheesecake tonight, well, technically the baking one is still baking, but the batter ingredients are all done. The no-bake is also done, but I can't have any of the ingredients. Like, none of the ingredients in the no-bake one. It's like cream cheese, I can't have that. Sour cream, can't have that. Whipped cream, can't have that. All mixed together. So yeah, can't have any of that. And then you can add any other flavors you want to it to season it, to give it flavors, whatever. It's just very plain. It's very yummy. It's very whatever. It's not as rich as other cheesecakes, but can't have any of it. So gotta find a way to get rid of it. I may take some of it to work, but every time I take stuff to work, people won't eat it. So I'm debating on that one too. Anyway, I'm rambling. I apologize. I haven't even got to things I didn't want to do, other than I didn't want to make 2 types of cheesecake tonight, but I did. I still haven't had dinner. My dinner is cooking, so I decided I'm just going to make my video before I do all the other stuff that I do tonight, because I just want to get it done and out of the way. And I went to work today, and I didn't intend to be late to work today, but I was late to work today. And then I don't really want to talk about ADHD medications, but I'm going to, because it's taunting me, and blood pressure medications. So I had my blood pressure checked at work again, because I have to do it twice a week to show my doctor in a couple of weeks to see if it's going down. And I did take the blood pressure medication for 30 days, like when it was originally given to me. And I checked, and my blood pressure was not any different from when I started taking it to when I stopped taking it, like at my doctor's office. So what it was the month before, what it was when he told me to change the ADHD medication, my blood pressure stayed exactly the same. So I stopped taking the blood pressure medication because I thought that it was making me more antsy and anxious, and I've talked about that in my videos. And it's something I should probably try to talk to my doctor about and be a little bit more convincing, that I'm like, I think it's the blood pressure medication and not the ADHD medication that's doing this to me. So my blood pressure on Tuesday was not good. It was, but it was lower, because it was like 158 over 98 or something when I had it in the doctor's office, and then a week ago. And then Tuesday it was 148 over 98. So the bottom number stayed the same, but the top number went down by like 10. And today it was 138 over 88. No, it was 148 over 92. So they both went down a little bit Tuesday. And then it was 138 over 88 today. So it went down again just in those 2 days. But I noticed today that I'm a lot calmer. I'm more at peace. I'm not like shaking. I'm not like antsy. My heart's not racing. I'm not as anxious. So I think part of that is what's lowering my blood pressure. I've also made myself get up and exercise every single day this week, which I know exercise can help lower your blood pressure. And I've been trying to get myself to drink more water, because I know I'm dehydrated, and if I drink more water, that can also help to lower my blood pressure. So I feel like even though it's still on the high side, it's actually getting closer to normal. Like 138 over 88 is actually much closer to normal. I think normal is supposed to be like 120 over 80. So, I mean, it's not that much higher. The 138 is, but the 88 is not too bad, in my opinion. And I know they like it to be lower. They want it to be like 72 on the bottom or something, and it's close to like 115 or 110 or something on the top now. But I'm like, I'll be happy if I get it down to 120 over 80. And I know my weight contributes to all of that too, but I'm kind of proud of myself for recognizing, one, that I didn't feel like the medication was working and it was just contributing to the problem, and two, that I can lower my blood pressure by lowering my anxiety, by exercising, and by drinking more water. So it just requires more effort on my part to stay calmer and to do more things in order for my body to be healthier and to fix itself. And I much prefer the fixing itself version versus the medication version, because I really don't like side effects to medications. Not a fan of that. So I'm also taking some vitamins that I bought that are supposed to be, I bought them from my chiropractor a long time ago, and they're supposed to help like your bones and your muscles and things heal. And I didn't like it because it always just kind of made me feel, I don't know, down a little bit, just kind of blasé, I guess. And I'm like, I just didn't like that feeling. But then I just felt like impressed that I should be taking that. And so I don't know if that's contributing to my blood pressure going down, but I think it's definitely the blasé feeling is kind of balancing out any kind of anxiety that I've had. So it's kind of balancing things out for me right now. So I think God is just helping me figure out what works for me and what works for my body. And I don't really know that this has anything. I'm like, this works better for my weekly videos and my daily videos. So I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like I'm supposed to share all of this. So I'm sharing all of it. So I'm counting it as the things I don't want to do, but I'm doing anyway. So But I just felt like, I don't want to say that I don't trust doctors. I don't believe in doctors, because I do. And I know doctors practice medicine, and I know they have a better idea as to what different medications work and how they interact. But I also know they have to kind of experiment with different people and their bodies, and you have to figure out which medications work. And so, I'm just trying to figure out which medications work and which medications I actually need to take. And I know it's not good for my blood pressure to be as high as it's been in the doctor's office. It's not supposed to be 158. It's not supposed to be 160 on top. It's not supposed to be 99 or 100 on the bottom. So those aren't good numbers for me to have, which would be a good reason to take the blood pressure medication. And high blood pressure does run in my family. My sister has it, and my grandmother had it. So, and strokes run in my family, so it's not a good idea for me to have high blood pressure. But I just don't feel like that medication was helping me, because I feel like if I took it for that long, it should have made some kind of a difference, and I don't feel like it did. So I'm gonna have to talk to my doctor about that. But I'm also excited that my blood pressure seems to be going down, just because I'm stopped taking, well, I don't think it's because I stopped taking that medication, but I changed the vitamins that I'm taking, and I've been exercising, and I've been drinking water, and I've been doing things to try to reduce my anxiety, which is doing more things I don't want to do just to get them off of my to-do list. And another thing I had to do today was to, because I told my Texas friend that I would pay her for the book cover, and my brain doesn't function properly. I get things mixed up. I'm not good with the technology thing and the different methods of payment. And I thought that I had Venmo through my bank, and I don't have Venmo. It's through an app, and I don't have the app for Venmo. I think I tried to figure it out once, and it didn't work. And so I deleted it, and I have no idea how to get back into it. I don't even know what my username and password is. I don't know if my phone will let me create a different one. I don't care. I don't want to figure it out. I'm not remotely interested in figuring it out. But I know through my bank, I have Zelle, and I only discovered that because my sister asked me that, and I had to look it up so that she could send me some money one time. And then, of course, I paid her right back. And then another friend of mine sent me something through Zelle. So I'm like, okay. So I told my Texas friend I'd send her money through Venmo, and I tried to pay her today and realized I don't have Venmo. So then I had to message, and actually it was her husband, because he's the one with the Venmo account. So I had to message him and be like, do you have Zelle? And he's like, I don't have Zelle. And I was like, great. So then I didn't really want to have to do this, but I did the bill pay thing because I didn't want to have to go get cash and go to the get a check or something. So I don't have checks anymore. I have gotten everything where I do online, so at least I do pay all my bills online, so I don't have to have checks. But I didn't want to have to go get cash to get a money order, because if you pay cash to get a money order, you can get the money order for free if you're not sending it anywhere, which is fantastic. So I like doing that. But but then I would still have to get a stamp and an envelope, and I would still have to mail it. I do have a stamp, and I do have envelopes, so I could do that. Or I could just do it through the bank, and then the bank just sends it, and I think they do it for free. But then I was reading it, and it says $5 to copy a check, and I was like, so $5 to send a check or $5 to copy a check? So I may be out an extra $5, which I hope I'm not. But I hope I'm not. I don't think I will be. But regardless, I did it for the convenience, so I don't really want to be out an extra $5, but at this point I don't care, because it's a matter of convenience for me. And so sometimes I do things like that just because it sometimes feels overwhelming and too much work for me to do anything else. So those are things I did not want to do today. But on a positive note, I did find a pharmacy yesterday that will take my that has the ADHD medication. So they actually filled it today. So I'm like, yay. Now I just have to go pick it up tomorrow, because I didn't go pick it up today. But I was freaking out when I got the voicemail. There's a voicemail from the pharmacy, and I was like, great, they're going to tell me they don't have my medication. And then I listened to the voicemail, and it said your prescription is ready to be picked up. And I was like, they have it. I'm so happy. So I am so happy that they have it. But I think I spent the money I had to buy my prescription on getting double ingredients for making 2 different types of cake tonight. So I would have to figure out some other way to pay for it. I have other means of paying for it. I just don't want to use them. So again, more things I don't want to do, but I need to do to take care of myself. And even though I don't like getting up extra early to exercise, and it's hard for me to keep track of how much water I drink because I just don't think about food and I don't think about water, so it's hard for me to focus on those things. I'm grateful that I can see that it's making a difference in my blood pressure. And so as hard as it is for me to take better care of myself, I am grateful that I'm learning how to do that. And I'm also grateful that God is showing me like some instant results for it, because it makes it worth continuing to do that. And it also means that I, hopefully will be able to lose a little bit more weight, which I definitely need to do. And maybe it will help with some other things as well. But if nothing else, it seems to be helping with my blood pressure, which means that I might not have to take medication for it. And that makes me very, very happy. So I still have to get my blood pressure checked twice next week, and hopefully it will continue to go down, or at least stay where it's at. So my doctor doesn't think I need to increase the medication that I'm actually not taking. So I think I'm going to have to be honest with them at some point and tell them I just am not taking it. So I'm like, nope, I just did this because I thought it was the medication that was making me anxious. And I know he said it wasn't, but I felt like it was. So I stopped taking it. And yeah, but I don't know. And then I started exercising and drinking more water. So combinations of things. I think it's a combination of things. So it's kind of like taking two medications at the same time and not knowing which one's causing the side effects. So trying to drink more water and exercising and doing things to eliminate stress are all things that I've been doing this week, and it's been working. So I think God has just been blessing me with that. But I don't know which one it is, or maybe it's the combination of things. So that's the tricky part. If you only do one thing at a time, you can tell with that experiment if that's what made the difference or not. But if you do multiple things at a time and then you get the results you want, the question is, was it the combination of things, or was it just one or two things, or just one thing? I don't know things, but I do know taking better care of myself is something that's hard for me, and a lot of times I don't want to do it. I just don't feel up to it, or I just feel tired, and tired is always my excuse not to do anything. And so tonight I'm grateful that in spite of being tired, I'm making a video, making dinner, and I made cheesecakes, and I went shopping to buy ingredients for cheesecakes. So I'm doing all of those things even though I don't want to, and I'm not letting my being tired be an excuse to not do things. So that's what I have for today, and my long crazy ramblings while my dinner is cooking, and now it smells yummy, so I hope that means it's done. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too, and I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe do one or two things you don't want to do today because you know it would be good for you.